Hello and welcome to New Mexico Rising. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week I try to bring people of who's who from all across the country to talk about cool things you could do right here in New Mexico. On this week's episode, I have two directors from the Apple TV Plus series, The Changeling. Yes, it's a dark and creepy kind of like fairy tale that's taking place in modern day, and they're going to talk all about it here. Plus, a little later, I got model, actress, Abby Max, who's going to be coming into our studio to talk about how she's helping out the community by throwing events that you could attend. So if you want to help out some kids with cancer and possibly make yourself $1,000, well, it's all coming up right here on that show we like to call New Mexico Rising. You know, many of us feel almost constant stress about what we're eating, how we're exercising, or the way we look in a mirror. I do. It's all true. But there are things that we could do to help. So joining us now to discuss all of this is the founder of the award-winning wellness app, Lindy Well, and author of the new book, Well to the Core. Welcome to the show, Robin Long. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
All right, so what can people do to maintain an effective and realistic approach to their health and wellness?
Yes, well, it's important to focus on effective. I think a lot of us get overwhelmed by starting new programs or setting lofty goals. We want to make big changes. We feel like not always stick with them. So I have 3 tips. The first is to really break free of that all or nothing mentality, which many of us get stuck in because we start these diet programs or we start these big exercise routines, and then we feel like if we can't stick with them, then we might as well do nothing. This all or nothing mentality keeps us stuck. So my second tip is instead to really start small. And this means even just 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, taking a walk, dancing around the living room, 10 minutes of Pilates. Starting small can really help us to break free of that all or nothing mentality and build new habits that last. And then the third tip is all of this requires us to actually just reframe how we are thinking about health and wellness in the first place. So it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It doesn't have to be this big life-changing goal. Instead, when we start small and we commit to building that habit over time, that's when we can really break free and start making progress that we can celebrate and enjoy.
So in your new book, you discuss the grace over guilt mindset. Do you have any tips to help people develop healthy habits?
Yes, so it is this grace over guilt mindset that can help us to develop these healthy habits. So again, I don't know if you can relate, but when we start something new and we can't stick to it perfectly, we often feel guilty or we feel like we've failed, and then we can get stuck there. And then it's months or weeks before we try it again and start again. Grace over guilt is about extending compassion to ourselves, understanding that we're human. It's okay to go off track. And instead, we're not going to get stuck in guilt. We're just going to keep moving forward. So it's really letting go of perfectionism and silencing that inner critic that can keep us stuck.
So how is Lindy Well helping people to achieve their wellness goals?
Yeah, Lindy Well is designed with all of this in mind. So helping to break free of the all or nothing mentality, really helping to reframe the way we're approaching health and fitness and starting small. So we have an app that provides all of this, including short Pilates workouts or short breath work sessions that you can sneak in to your busy day. And we provide all of that right within our app. And I dive deep into this in my new book, Well to the Core, really walking through it chapter by chapter to help you implement it into your life.
Well, Robin Long, thanks for joining me this morning. Where can we go for more information and maybe pick up your book and all that other good stuff?
Yeah, you can head over to lindywell.com, and there you'll find the book, as well as we're giving away more than $300 in bonuses right now when you pre-order, including I'm going to be hosting a virtual book club that will walk you through the book together so we can go through it together. And then you can also find information on a free trial at lindywell.com as well.
Well, Robin Long, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
Do you believe in fairy tales? What about fairy tales that aren't just for kids? If you're a fan of stories that mix horror, parenthood, which is also horror, and an adventurous journey through an unexplored New York City, well, you're kind of in for a treat. The Changeling, based on the best-selling book by Victor Lavelle, does just that, and it's already kind of creating a buzz on Apple TV Plus, and new episodes are dropping every Friday. And guess what? Today, we're stoked to have the brilliant minds behind this series, directors Jonathan Van Tulleken and Michael Francis Williams. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you guys?
Yeah,
Hi,
great,
how are
thank you.
All right, The Changeling is a mix of horror, parenthood, and a journey through like New York City. What drew you both to this project?
I mean, I read the book back when it had come out from Victor, which was just, yeah, like you said, beautiful exploration of parenthood through the medium of, really compelling genre, and also a sort of a view of New York that I hadn't seen before. And then when I read the scripts, it was fantastic because Kelly, who ran the show and had written all the scripts, took the book and really expanded it out, really with Victor's blessing, and created this bold, dreamlike world that also had a real female component to it, where she also really explored motherhood as well as Victor's exploration of fatherhood. So you ended up with sort of a dual protagonist, and it just felt like nothing I'd ever seen on TV. That it was, it was rich and bold and compelling, and yeah, not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, and for me as a black director, there's very few shows that allow us to be seen in this range of complexity and humanity. So to read something this beautifully written, the unique point of view, Kelly's amazing work on the episode I got to work on in the whole series, plus, Melina, Lakeith, Clark, just the volume of talent and artists on the show was just so exciting to get a chance to direct with them.
So how close did you guys work with Victor Lavelle and doing the adaptation? Were there any major changes from the book? Were there people trying to save their babies from getting cut out? Or how do you guys do that? How do you guys decide what stays and what goes?
It was an incredibly collaborative process, I've got to say. Victor and Kelly worked very closely. I don't think Victor was precious at all, in a way that, I almost can't imagine if I was giving my novel over to someone else to adapt. But really, Victor was so much part of the process. Kelly really brought him in. He was on set a lot. Some of this is based on his sort of own experiences in life. And yeah, it was a real team effort from Melina, who did the pilot, and Kelly who wrote the scripts, and Victor obviously wrote that novel. I feel like it was at no point, it didn't feel challenging in that way. It felt really engaged, and that Victor himself was really part of that process, and delightfully so.
Yeah, and as any fans of the novel, we kept really true to what was in the book, and it's really exciting for folks to see that up on a screen. And then Victor was, if the book is his baby, he was very generous with that. And Kelly was able to expand the story of Lillian's mother out into an episode later in the season that gives it a kind of richer tapestry to an already beautifully complicated book. So it was an amazing collaborative experience.
And if you guys were to expand this universe to more than 8 episodes, would you, or was this kind of built as intended? And what if the execs came in tomorrow and were like, hey, can we do another season and do another whole bunch of episodes? Would you? That's the question I got.
100% yes. That there is much more story to be told, for sure. There's no doubt we're really excited for people to just absorb this season. But absolutely, there is a lot more journey that can be explored and expanded upon.
All right, well, thank you two for joining me this morning, and you guys got to check it out. It's on Apple TV Plus. The first few episodes are already there, but every Friday, new episodes. Check it out. It's The Changeling. Thank you two for joining me.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
All right, I want to introduce some guy. This guy. His name is Kevin. Kevin Hopper. He's actually my old boss over at the newspaper Local IQ. If you remember that used to be the free magazine that you got around. He's been doing an event in New Mexico for how many years now?
We started in 2010. We're the longest running craft beer festival in the state.
It is New Mexico Brew Fest,
New Mexico
the NM
Brew
Brew
Fest,
Fest.
yeah.
That's really awesome, and congratulations for having it once again. And it's coming up, when is it? It's on...
This will be on October 14th
So
at
Saturday.
the State Fairgrounds at the Via Hispana kind of outdoor pavilion. It's a really beautiful space, grass and trees and sunshine, hopefully.
So you've been doing this for a long time. What are some of the things for this year that we're going to be looking forward to, and kind of who's going to be there?
Well, we got a lot of some of the older breweries like Turtle Mountain, who's been here forever. Marble, of course, everybody's favorite. We also have La Cumbre, but we also have some of the newer guys. Like there's a place called Sunday Service Motor Company.
Sunday Service Motor Company.
And they
I've never
serve
been
coffee and they serve beer. So, Thirsty Eye, which is a great little brewery on Broadway and Gold.
Gotcha.
Yep, this is what we're pouring right now. And they're going to be there as well. So we got about 13 breweries. We've also got a little cocktail lounge for people that don't necessarily want to have beers.
Okay.
And there are some. But then there's also people that have the canned cocktails now. And there'll be a lot of variety. We even have a kombucha vendor. But we also got a lot of arts vendors and local business vendors in town, live music, food trucks, the whole bit.
And what type of bands are going to be performing? Any good ones?
We've got Hooks and the Huckleberries,
Okay.
which is kind of making a big thing. They do a lot of touring, but they're from Albuquerque. They even have a song about the Sandia Mountains, and they're kind of on the country side of things. But yeah, like it's a fantastic band. People can dance under the canopy. It's going to be fun.
So if people are looking to get their tickets, where do they go and how do they get them?
Everything you need to know is at nmbrewfest.com. That's nmbrewfest.com. And you can get tickets there. You can get all the information about which brewers we have, which vendors, and which food trucks we have, as well as we also have yard games like giant Jenga and giant beer pong.
So this is the top brew fest in New Mexico. It's been going on for a very long time. I've had a blast multiple years that I've been there.
Yes.
And congratulations again for bringing it out once again. For those at home that want to go check it out, where do they go one more time so they get their tickets?
NM Brewfest. N stands for New, M for Mexico. So.
New Mexico NM Brew Fest.
nmbrewfest.com. Yes.
Thank you very much, Kevin, for
Thanks
hanging
for
out with
having
me.
me, man.
No worries, man. You know, fall is synonymous with a fresh start. So how do we set ourselves for a successful season of... I was trying to find another S so I could have some great alliteration, but it's not working. All right, to try to keep our family healthy and motivated as we move into the cooler weather. So today we have wellness lifestyle expert Jamie Hess here with some tips for a better daily routine and focusing on our fitness and wellness. Welcome to the show. Jamie, how are you?
I am great. Thanks for having me. And how about simple for another S? Let's keep it simple today. How's that?
That's why you're smarter than me, and I bring you on as a guest. See, that's it. I find the people smarter and better than me to be on the show.
For you. Here's the thing. It really is about going back to basics and keeping it simple, because I feel that wellness has gotten a little bit overcomplicated, oversaturated, and we really just need to take a step back. It's about creating this consistency, these little routines that just allow us to take control of our own health and also know what's going on with our bodies and what we're putting in it and on it and all that good stuff. So I brought a couple of products here I want to talk to you about today, so you can take a daily check-in, and that will help you with your wellness goals. So let's first talk about taking your own blood pressure. This is something I'm recommending to lots of my clients that they do. And I recommend that they use the Braun Exact Fit 3 blood pressure monitor. Now, the reason I like this one is because it delivers professional, clinically tested results. It's in line with the American Heart Association, actually. So you know it's going to be the real deal. And here's the other thing. Easy to read, color-coded interpretation, nice big monitor, and also 2 sizes of cups so it'll fit your arm. I also like that it averages your last 3 readings. That's going to give you better information to bring back to your doctor so you can have those conversations and be more well-informed. You can find more about that product at braunhealthcare.com, or you can go purchase it over on Amazon. Now, while we're talking about just making new routines, let's talk about fitness and movement for a minute, because I'm a fitness expert, so I'd be remiss if I didn't go there. But here's what I don't want to say. You don't have to go into the gym for 2 hours a day. You don't have to be overwhelmed. And if you can't do it 5 or 6 days a week, don't stress. The journey of a million miles starts with a single step, right? So just getting outside, taking advantage of the cooler temperatures, and taking that power walk to be the first step for your fitness program for the fall. But here's the thing. When we start a new fitness program, we often get sore, aches, and pains. So I recommend having on hand in your home Boron Arnicare Arthritis Cream. Here's what I love about this one. It mixes the plant power of arnica with something called herpagophytum, which is more commonly referred to as devil's claw. So this is really great because it provides relief from that joint discomfort and that stiffness that's commonly associated with arthritis. So it's fragrance-free, it absorbs easily, and it doesn't have that menthol or camphor in it that some of the other products on the market have that can make it smell not so good or sting when you put it on your skin. It has none of that. So great product. You can find that at local drugstores nationwide.
All right, so what about something delicious for the whole family to like eat better this fall?
We love something delicious, especially when it's easy, right? Because mom of two here, it's got to be easy, got to be quick. So Del Monte's fruit refreshers are something that my family is loving right now because it's a really fun snack that really kind of up levels that fruit snack experience. They have these delicious, unexpected flavor combinations. So picture this. The little cup has things in it like peaches, pineapple, mango, and then that is in this delicious fruit-infused water with unexpected flavors like honeysuckle and prickly pear and dragon fruit and guava. So really delicious pairings. What you're not going to find is artificial sweeteners. What you will find in there is a great boost of vitamin C, and we all know how important that is coming into cold and flu season.
Any other tips you got, Jamie?
I would just say this, starting your day with a mindful reset is so important. People kind of roll their eyes at me when I say to meditate, but I'm telling you, just 5 minutes in quiet with your own breath can make a huge difference. And I like to say it can put a pause button on your mental remote. So as you're going through the day, you make better decisions.
Jamie, thank you for joining me this morning. Where can we go for more information on any of this stuff?
Head on over to Instagram where you can find me at NYCFitFam. I share tips and tricks like this every single day.
Jamie, you are a hero. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
You know, from trick riding to chasing legendary landmarks, our next guest is no stranger to the limelight. He's having shared the screen with likes of like Angelina Jolie, Kevin Costner. Now he embarks on a teen adventure confronting inner darkness in What Rhymes with Reason. Making his way from the rodeo to our set, you gotta welcome the multi-talented Gatlin Griffith. How are you, buddy?
That's quite the intro, man. I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. You are multifaceted. Rodeo guy. I've ridden one bull once and messed up my hip, but I got the belt that they gave me for being in the rodeo. It's a basically a participation award. But you do it all the time, man. How does that like bring that life into making movies and stuff?
Well, my dad has been doing it for a long time. The horses have been in our life for over 100 years. And like you said, we're trick riders. So he carried that into live shows in Vegas for a long time, and then into Hollywood with The Mask of Zorro back in 1998.
That's awesome, man. All right, so What Rhymes with Reason, it seems like it's kind of a tale of adventure mixed with like introspection. How do you approach portraying a teen navigating both external challenges and also the inner demons?
Yeah, it's an adventure movie, but that external world is a projection of the inside of these kids trying to figure themselves out, you know, trying to realize where they lie in their beliefs and in a higher power, where they lie in their beliefs upon what it means to be a friend. Like, there's a lot of internal struggle that I think is overlapped into the big adventure movie that we have here, where we're traveling out and we get to see all of beautiful Oklahoma. And Oklahoma is not just flatland. Let me tell you that. It is gorgeous. I had an amazing time filming there.
And your filmography kind of ranges between like huge major blockbusters with the A-list stars, and you also have some of those TV dramas. How does the experience of like this movie differ than some of your past roles?
You know, being on an independent film like this, you know for a fact that everyone involved is there because they care. Being with Kyle Roberts, the director, and the other actors, it was a run and gun film. You know, every few days we were moving to a different location, and it takes a lot out of you, but you have to care about the project in order to get it done. So I don't know. I got really close with all the filmmakers on it, the actors, the department heads. Everybody was local, and it was just it was a movie that was inspired by love, and we hope that by sharing it, we can change some lives.
And the movie itself, it kind of centers on like a group of teens looking for like this legendary landmark. And you kind of said you got close with some of your fellow actors and team members. Were there any like real life adventures or off-screen moments that that kind of stood out during shooting or making this movie?
Yeah, totally. We lived together, actually. They got a cast house for us, and we all were there together. So I mean, I think we had a few days before we started filming, and then once you hit the ground rolling and you're in that kind of workplace where it's all in, you can't help but get close to people in a way that I've never experienced on a film before. And we're touching such vulnerable subjects, and we're having to be open with ourselves in ways that you're not asked of always. So having to go to those deep places with the people, you can't help but form lifelong bonds with them.
All right. And this movie seems to blend like elements of tragedy and mystery and self-discovery. Without giving too much away, like what do you hope that audiences will take away from this story?
You know, I hope that with this movie, it opens up more conversations about mental health, especially between parents and children. It's a movie that explores what it means to be in those dark times, and that it's okay to open up and have these conversations. And that's where it starts getting help. So I really hope that this movie encourages people to be open to having those dialogues with the people that are closest to them that might not know that they're going through that.
And it looks like, what is it, October 10th is World's Mental Health Day, and that's what this movie is going to be released in Fathom theaters, or theaters that are hosting Fathom events. What does this mean to you that and the production of this film to associate with the mental health and trying to help out with that?
You know, it's crazy the way it lines up with independent movies. There's such an uncertainty to their future, but to be able to, it just seems like this was the perfect way it was supposed to happen. It was meant to happen this way. You know, it's a movie that's encouraging those kind of conversations around mental health, and to be able to open nationwide on Mental Health Day, I don't know, it just speaks to, I think, what we're trying to put out there into the world and the universe about dealing with these things. And I hope that it opening up on that day serves its purpose.
All right. Well, the question I always ask for everybody, that every project that you work on is kind of a new, I guess you always learn something new whenever you work on a new project. If you could go back in time to day one of making this film and could whisper some tip or trick or some insight into your ear to make the production go a little better, what would you tell yourself?
Buckle in and get ready. You don't have the power to take on the things in your life until you're there, and then it emerges and you ask for it and it's given. I wouldn't give myself any advice, because that would have been cutting the journey early. You know, it was such a surprise, and it was so difficult that I wouldn't have wanted to know what I was getting into before doing it. But I don't mean to say that as in it was a hard project to make. It was empowering to make, and I'm fortunate to be a part of it.
Gatlin Griffith, thanks for joining me. Check out What Rhymes with Reason. It's available in cities all across the country. Just look up Fathom Events and look for What Rhymes with Reason. It airs on Tuesday, October 10th. Thanks for joining me this morning, bud.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it, sir.
Welcome back to New Mexico Rising. My name is Dan, and in the studio I got the lovely, talented Abby Max, one of my good friends. She is a event promoter. She does events all throughout New Mexico, and she has a big one coming up on the 13th of this month, like Friday the 13th. It's a big spooky event. Can you tell us about this event, what it's all about?
Yes, we're going to have a whole lineup of DJs and some special guests, along with some DME talent agency models and actors that will be there for a meet and greet. And there's $1,000 up for grabs with the Halloween costume contest.
Wait, there's a costume contest where you could win yourself $1,000.
Yeah.
How do you get involved? Do you have to jump in early? Do you have to email or like sign up or anything? Or is it you just show up in a really good costume?
Buy your tickets, show up in a really good costume, and sign up at the venue.
So how is that going to be judged? Do you have judges, or is it going to be audience-based judging?
It's audience-based judging, but we'll have some special guests there to determine between the decimal of sound.
The volume decimal? So people are going to be making, so cheer. So if you really want to win, get a good costume and bring all your friends. That's the way to do it.
It's the way to do it.
That's one way to do it. Can you tell us, you actually are starting these events to try to help out charities and small organizations. Can you tell us about who you're going to help out with this on this one?
Yeah. Part of the profits will be going to help create events for the Children's Cancer Fund of New Mexico. I'm very much involved with that community. I like to create events for them, such as Runway, Model for a Day, and now we're on to making movies. So I'd like to kind of support that.
So what got you involved in trying to help out some of these organizations, especially like the Children's Cancer Group?
Well, the Children's Cancer Fund has been there for me for many, many years during my own kids' battle with cancer. And so it's time to give back.
All right. So you're planning on doing some more events so you can start giving to some of these organizations. What do you have planned in the future?
Well, I'm planning on bringing entertainment to Albuquerque, such as bands, comedians, DJs, and I will always donate a part of my profits to charity and creating these events for these kids.
All right, one more time, where do we go for more information? How do we buy our tickets and get involved in this big first show?
AbbyQEvents.com. You can get your tickets there.
Abby, Max, one of my favorite peoples in Albuquerque. Abby Q Events, go get your tickets. And also bring a great costume because you got a chance to make $1,000 at least on Friday the 13th, and then you could upgrade your costume for Halloween itself. So, Abby, Max, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thanks.
And that is it for New Mexico Rising. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the show this week. Honestly, I want to thank you guys for tuning in each and every week or following us on YouTube at NM Rising or following us on social media. Just look up New Mexico Rising. The reason why is because we're an independent show. No one actually pays us to put this program on the air except for some of the clientele that are on the program. But that gives us a chance to bring people like Abby Max, who is helping out kids with cancer by throwing her events. She's able to come in for absolutely nothing because some of these other clients pay for the show to be on the air. And if you want to be part of the program, by all means, email me, newmexicorising@gmail.com. If you have an event, if you're a small business, if you want to just say hi to your grandma, by all means, just send me an email. I'll be able to try to get that stuff on the air right here on New Mexico Rising, and it's all paid for by the people that were on the show. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking out our show on YouTube, and thanks for subscribing to us on social media. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook. That was it for New Mexico Rising. Until next week.
has 45 beers on tap, weekly specials, live entertainment, and we are kid and pet friendly. Located in Riverside Plaza off Corzo Montano.